This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. Welcome to my home kitchen. I'm here with Kristin Donovan from Hooked in Leslieville, Kensington Market, and now Halifax of all places. That makes sense to me. And we're here to look at filleting or filleting a fish. We're going to be using the Wüsthof Classic Ikon boning knife and the Santoku. Superb. So with no further ado, what kind of fish do we have here?
We have a Sea Bream. I like, for when people are learning how to fillet fish, I really like this fish because I find it's forgiving.
Okay, forgiving in what kind of way?
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
I'm not getting you to fillet this one, but you know, filleting fish takes practice.
Right.
And so your first few are going to be pretty ugly, typically. And so I find this one, it's nice and meaty. The bones are sturdy enough that it's actually comfortable to find the bones when you're working with your knife. Okay. And we teach a fishmongering 101 class where we do fillet fish, and this is one of the ones I always use.
Oh, you do those classes at Hook?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start using the fillet knife. This is a knife, this is the exact knife pretty much that I've used my entire cooking career. And I use a couple different ones now for fish, but this one is also, for most people, this is a really good one to start with.
So you're looking for a flexible blade then?
I like a little bit of flex.
Right.
It's different now that I've cut so many fish, but starting out, the flex is very handy because it helps you to really kind of find the bones.
And we, normally when you speak to chefs, they always speak about a very, very sharp blade is incredibly important. But you told me earlier that when it comes to filleting fish, you don't want it too sharp.
Yeah, so you still want it sharp. You want it very sharp. But when you have it razor sharp, especially if you're beginning to just learning to cut fish, the danger with a super, super sharp knife is that you can easily cut through the bones and you don't realize it. And so what can end up happening is you think you're going along the correct part of the bone, and then all of a sudden your knife goes straight through into the other side. Right. And it's not a disaster. It's just one of those things where when you're trying to really learn how to take one fillet off, it just makes it a bit more difficult. Okay. So a little less sharp than perfect is good. So when I cut a round fish like this, so round fish meaning there's two fillets, guts are out, I call it drawing the lines. So I will make an incision along here, and then work my way up to the spine. I'll cut through just behind the collar. Okay. And then I'll also cut along the dorsal, and then I'll start taking the actual fillet off. Okay. Superb. So I'm a lefty, bear with me. So I cut just above the dorsal, and I hold down the fish with my hand. Just to keep it steady. And then you'll see I start my cut. I don't start my cut with the tip. I usually will start kind of with the middle because I find it helps me to apply good pressure. Make sure I've got it the right way here. So at this stage you want to look and make sure you're on the right side. The right side meaning the bone is underneath the fillet, yes. Okay? And then I'm making long strokes, and then I realize here, okay, I'm hitting something, that's the backbone. So now I'm going to go up and over and then back down. And you're kind of running blind here, but
I guess you just get a feel for
the fish, and that's
right?
what fish filleting is feeling more than any other type of butchery, I find. You know, you really need to press with your knife down, making sure that you're not wasting anything. You pay for the whole fish, so do we. So we aim to have really, really good yield. Up and over the bone and then down the back, okay? Now I'm going to cut through behind the collar. And when I do this, I really try to go as close to the collar as I can with a good angle. I don't want to waste any of the fish. Fish is not cheap, and fish ought not be wasted. So I do try to go as close as I can to the bone there, okay? And then last, I'm going to come along the dorsal. So along the back, you want to come just above the fin, and you can actually feel the ridge of bone here. Once you start to go in with your knife, you can really feel it. So now I'm just... So I'm actually pushing down quite firmly against the bone. This is nice. Now you can hear it. Okay. The boys at the store did not scale this fish perfectly, but anyway, that's why I keep scraping scales off. Okay, and you see the kind of incisions I'm making? I'm going pretty long. I don't saw, and I'm pretty decisive. So what I'm really using, this flex really comes in handy, is you're really just pushing down, and you can feel the bones. So now I'm already all the way through.
Oh yes, I see that.
So then you just pass your knife out the end. And now at this stage, you're trying to get this fillet off. Ideally, it's nice if you can get it off without taking the ribs off with it. If you do, it's not a big deal. So I'm just gonna fold the fillet back a little bit. And it's tough with these bones just because they do tend to stick out a little bit. And then I'm basically, see these ones are getting cut off, which is cool, it's fine. Now I have the fillet off. You can see here there's very, very little waste. Even at the store with what is left here, we call it scrape, that goes into our chowder and burgers. We don't waste a bit of it.
And those are good burgers as well.
Thank you. And then at this point, you still have the rib bones on. And here's the stomach or the belly, not the stomach, the belly. This is one of my favorite parts of any fish because it's the fattiest part of the fish. And then what I'm just going to do is push down on the belly there, and then I get my knife. You can see I get it just up and under.
Yes,
So you see the angle of my knife? I'm not going down. I'm honestly up like this. And then I'm pushing up against the bones and then pulling the knife right through so you don't waste too much of the belly. Okay, and then any little ugly trimmy bits here, you just kind of scrape them off.
Yep.
Give them a little cut.
Lovely, and you have
a pretty lovely fillet. And then the only thing you have left here are some pin bones. Okay. You can take those out with tweezers if you want, or when you cook it, they'll be pretty evident. I think there's about 7 of them. That only goes to about there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there any difference when you're doing the other side of the fish?
There are a couple differences. I can use the Santoku. I typically use something called a deba knife that is it's actually very similar shape to this, but it's got a thicker wedge to it, which I find is really comfortable for doing harder boned fish. So I can use this one now, as you can see. So with this one, and the reason I like using kind of a harder knife at this point is I'm going to cut the head off because you can see when I'm pushing on the fish, it's just
kind of unstable.
Yeah, it's totally unstable. Yeah. So with cutting fish and anything really, you want things to be a little bit more stable. So again, I'm just going to make my way through just behind the collar. To find the collar, it's just that hard bone right there. Yeah. And then just cut right behind that little fin there.
Okay, from the collar to that fin.
Exactly. I think it's called the pectoral fin. Is it? Maybe. I should know that. Okay.
I'll just agree with you.
Perfect. Head off. Hello. And then you have a really stable place to start. So again, like the last time, I hold my hand on the fish firmly so it doesn't slide around, and then I'm going to make a cut into here and up along the bone, up along the skeleton. Okay, you can hear that I was dragging along the bone, which is good.
How long did it take you to get good at this?
There's just so many fish. Yeah. So many fish. I was okay at it, and then honestly, I'm super competitive and I love challenging myself, and I love kind of challenging the staff, even though half the time they don't know that I am. So you just work at it, and it's like anything in cooking, you're never going to be perfect at this, but it's so much fun to try. So we yield our fish constantly, and I try to always have like the highest percentage yield fillet weight to bone weight. Yeah, I don't know, it's just fun. It's super satisfying. Anyway, so then I'm going to make the cut along here.
Okay.
And again, it's just above the dorsal. You end up losing a tiny bit of meat there, but you end up scraping it off anyway. Okay, so nice long strokes. And now I'm already through. Okay, just slide that right through. And now at this stage, I'm just going to get this fillet off the rib bones. Oh, here we go. So this one I did a little bit better. And again, I'm just most concerned with like having a fillet that I can sell, or in your case at home that you feel proud of and it looks really nice. I'm just gonna cut through here. This one isn't. Okay, so at this point, you actually want to cut up and under the bones just to get them out. And this one, not my best, but still fine. This one now, just to get the belly off, I'm going to use the finer knife. It's just a lot easier. So basically at this point, you really don't need to do much beyond scrape because I've got all the bones out. And, all this meat is delicious, so you don't really want to waste any of it.
And with all of these scraps here, the head and the like, surely there's a use for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So fish stock, for sure. The meat in the head is awesome. I mean, that doesn't look so appetizing right there, but like all of this in here and the cheeks and all of this are delicious. So you can either roast them, put them in a curry or something, or make fish stock. So, accumulate some bones. That's a nice thing about cutting your own fish. Accumulate some bones, and then you
can just put them in a freezer bag and
and then just keep adding to them. And then it's cold water, white wine, some aromatics. Throw these guys in to cover, bring to a simmer, and skim for 30 minutes, and you're done. And it makes a really nice base for tom yum soup or anything.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming into my kitchen today and showing me exactly how to fillet or fillet a fish.
Awesome. Thank you.
We'll see you at the fish store soon.
Awesome.
Bye
Thanks.
for now.
Bye.